So let me see that everything is working here. I have a nice light here and I don't switch it on. Okay, so let me just see. Good morning. I just have a look here that everything is working. No comments yet. Okay, so let me know when you can see and hear me. And I just have a sip of my coffee and then we can start in a couple of seconds. So I hope you had a lovely weekend. Good morning, more and more people coming in. That's absolutely amazing. Just let me know from where you are, that I can see that my comment box here is working on my side. Raki, good morning. Miriam, lovely to see you again. Okay, so I hope you had a nice weekend. I went with my husband to Johannesburg, visiting friends, had amazing food there. We tried some Portuguese. That was really delicious. Precious, thank you. Phoenix, good morning. Sipusiso, good morning. Lovely. Then I was a little bit crazy. I did 1 hour of boot camp and then I had another hour of karate training. Whenever there is something available, I like to move my body and to improve, of course, also my skills. Yes, and then we met an uncle of my husband I never ever met before in Johannesburg and had some lovely lunch there, and then flew back yesterday morning. Enjoyed the lounge from F&B there. That is like a, I don't know, 4 or 5-star hotel and a buffet, so I had some nice breakfast there. Wazi, good morning. Lovely. Okay, so let's see, what are we doing today? I wanted to talk about the Canvas business model. It's a specific model. What is extracting the most important aspect of your business? Definitely something what also financiers want to see, not in the way they are usually set that up, but the information definitely needs to be in your business plan, and it is concentrating on really how you will earn money. Yeah, so I tried to find a setting here, but I couldn't find it. If anybody knows that, so I thought they offered that in between, but now I can't see that. I would have loved to just share that on the screen with you. It is a A4 format in this way, and it has 9 aspects, 9 columns, no, not 9, you know, columns and rows with 9 fields. Okay, so, and this is a specific way to present that. I'm using this lots of time when I'm evaluating business ideas and just asking these are all my questions. I'm not using how they present that, but it's definitely nice to see, and I personally really appreciate that. Bongi, good morning. Okay, so let me just, I made some notes here so that I don't forget that. Okay, so we have 9 aspects of a business, of the business model this Canvas business model wants to cover. And I can see, I had a look at different models. They are not all having the same aspect in the same spot, but and what I'm mentioning here is not about the order of importance, is just covering everything. Yeah. So the first thing is, what I hear is on my list is the customer segment. Who do you really want to target? Who will buy from you? Who has the money to buy from you? Who is willing to pay for your service or your products? Yeah. It can be one group, it also can be different groups. This is also important to put a little bit of effort into it, because this customer segments can help you also with your marketing later on. Yeah? How to reach specific groups. Sometimes you have a wide range of different groups, and then maybe these are on Facebook, these people are more on LinkedIn, these people you would better approach on exhibitions, you know. So this is where you then can also develop from this your marketing strategy. Second part is your value proposition. Yeah, the unique value or benefit that the business offers to that you offer to your customers. Why should customers choose your product or your service? Unique selling points, what makes you different? You know, all these questions we always hear in if somebody says, okay, so explain your business model. This is what is meant. Also important later on for your marketing, yeah. So because this is something where you then can say in your pitch deck, in your company profile, in your company proposal, whatever you want to do, this is what makes us special. Yeah. I always like to compare that here to Funding Connection. That is, of course, the easiest way for me. So what is our value proposition? Number one is definitely our expertise and experience. It is our time frames we are offering our clients. There's not only one person who drafts your business plan, does the application. There is a team of experts. So you can be sure each and every part is done by an expert. Yeah. And then, of course, for Funding Connection also, that we are not only drafting business plans, doing the feasibility study, but that we are also help with raising the capital, submitting your applications. That is our value proposition. Yeah. Let me just go back here. Nope, that is the, okay, yes. I just wanted to make sure that you don't have any questions. If you have questions in between, just let me know, you know. I will always swap around here and just have a look. Okay, so we talked about customer segments, value proposition, channels, okay? And channels means the distribution channels. Are you as a manufacturer selling to wholesaler or to retailer? As a manufacturer, do you now decide to have an online store and you want to sell directly to end user? Or you want to set up as a manufacturer a multi-level marketing system, yeah, where you then go through different end users directly. Let me just stop my phone. Sorry, it was a little bit hectic here. Okay, so switch it off. Okay, so channels, yeah? Your distribution channels. Are you a retailer? Are you going online? Are you having a shop? Where is your shop? Where will be your different shops? Yeah? This is all about your distribution, big part of your business model. Next part is customer relationships. Yeah, the types of relationships a business maintains with their customers. It is how you acquire customers, how do you keep your customers, and it is part really of your marketing strategy. Yeah. So the ideal world is you have if lots of people ask me, what's your ideal business, what would you set up? I would set up business to business, definitely. I would set up something where people need my services on a monthly basis, yeah? So that you can ask for retainer, or that you are able to charge on a monthly basis, because cash flow is king in a business, and that is an easy way to manage cash flow, yeah? And of course, also the big part is also how to acquire, your customers and clients. Yeah, what are your strategies there? Okay, so that is all about customer relationships. And what you can see here, it always depends on your business, how much attention one specific part has. Yeah. So how do you come up with your customers? Where do you find them? All these things are important. And let me tell you, it's important also for financiers. They definitely want to understand that. You remember that most financiers want offtake agreements because they want to see that you have already relationships with potential customers. Not that you're setting up for 100 million rand in manufacturing and then you say, okay, now I'm selling one product, and then all the channels you are thinking about are already satisfied and nobody is willing to change. Yeah, because your competitor maintains a good relationship with their customers, and it will be really difficult to disrupt that. Yeah, or you need then to have specific values and unique selling points so that they can say, you know what, this is a headache in any case all the time. I like to change to a new supplier. Yeah. Let me just see if there are any questions on the other side. Okay. Lilwazi. Okay, so what I'm doing is we are working with a couple of consultants together, and they use our services to do business plans, financial forecasts, because that is not their core business. Exactly like we are. I'm quite picky. I say this is our core business, this is our expertise. I feel comfortable with doing financial forecast and all these things. Yes, but we do that, we pay a commission, we insist on that, we are in direct contact with your clients. The reason why is, and I'm absolutely open with this information, because I want to be able to ask the client, your client, the questions directly to understand their business model. Otherwise, if I'm asking you to ask the client answers you and you are answering me, there is some information always getting lost. Yeah. Sibusiso, how can one control the markets in any business you can't control? Okay, this is the environment you are working in. You have no control about it. Somebody else can come up with a new idea. Think about Airbnb, where everybody is now renting out their personal spare rooms for holiday makers, or even a little bit longer term. That is a big competitor, of course, now to all the hotels and B&Bs out there. Think about Uber. Everybody can now use their personal private car, and it's a big competition to all the taxi drivers, and nobody thought about that this is possible. Yeah, so that means you always need to be on your toes, need to have a look what's happening in your environment to be then able to react. Yeah. And or you are one of the people who said, you know what, I can come up with a great idea and disrupt a full industry. Yeah. Okay. I also know, also in smaller parts, I know in Germany there was somebody who was tea. Hand-picked high-quality tea, not the ones in the tea bags, the loose tea. If it lands in Germany and then it's packaged, it's really, really expensive. And somebody thought, there are so many people, they love tea, they are willing to pay also extra premium for their tea. So what they do is they say, okay, we will source and we will order, I don't know, from Ceylon, some specific tea. and pay us up front for kg, and as soon as we have a container full, we will order and then we will distribute. Yeah, that is also, there are some clever ideas out. It's in a smaller scale, but they are thinking similar. Yeah. Okay, so let me just answer this one question, and then I go back to my presentation I have in my head, and I would definitely want to share with you. Phoenix, how does one make a business plan modular pitch deck attractive when you are in between the startup phase and beginning stages of 1 or 2 sales per month? Okay. I personally think you have shown already that you know how to sell. Yeah, there is some traction. Is this EPA? No. Yeah, I agree on it. But you obviously know how to sell. You have the right product. There are buyers out there. And as soon as you are able to sell something once or twice, we all assume that there is a market. Yeah. Okay, Nanseda, let me just go on with my presentation. I definitely will come back to that. Yeah. So let me just see. We covered customer segments, value proposition, channels, customer relationships. Most important, that's where I always look, revenue streams. Okay, so what are you really offering? How are you charging for it? And how are you generating revenue streams? Something, if we do the business plans, we are separating to 5 different revenue streams here, just to make sure that you can concentrate on these streams and are not offering hundreds and hundreds of products. Different for retailers, I understand that, but then we have also our ways how to explain that. We just want to make sure that you're not say, okay, I'm selling cars, I'm selling computers, I'm selling, I don't know, some headache tablets and something else, you know. So you don't want this, because keep in mind you are thinking about your customer segments, your value proposition, and you always want to be an expert in whatever you want to do. You don't want to be too broad, because if you are too broad, your prices go down. Yeah, people are willing to pay a little bit more for an expert and are willing to pay a little bit less for somebody who does everything and is how do you say that, jack of all trades. Yeah. Okay, key activities. Yeah, so you need to think about your crucial task activities the business needs to perform to be able to deliver their services or products, either way the manufacturing parts, or in our case, who does the business plan, who does the financial forecast, who is responsible for research, you know, all these parts we are offering here. We need to think about what staff do we need, what equipment do we need, what software and apps do we need some specific access to research papers, maybe even paid access, you know, so all these things. You need to be clear about what you want to do and how you want to do that, because this how is also important for the financier. Yeah, that is number 6. So 3 more left. Key resources. Okay, I mentioned that already. The one was the key activities, you see. Now they ask for key resources. That means the computer, the phones, the software, the apps, the equipment, vehicles you may need, you know. So, and I had sometimes also people, they said, oh yes, we want to deliver, but there was no vehicle in the business plan, you know. So, or they had a vehicle, but they had no driver in their big picture. All these things are aspects we definitely have a look at it and say, okay, here's something missing here, there's something missing there. It does not fit together. Or you say we don't do delivery, then we don't need a vehicle, then we don't need a driver. Yeah. Okay, key partnerships. Something where I definitely concentrated also in the beginning. I was looking for external organizations and or individuals, they can collaborate with me and leveraging our resources with their resources, their activities with my activities, their capabilities with my capabilities. Yeah. So I partnered in the beginning with lots of accounting firms and said, okay, so I know you don't have the time for this thing, I can do that for you, and then because I would never ever be able I'm not a bookkeeper. I learned all these things during my university time, accounting. We did all these things forwards and backwards, and definitely I know how to do that, but not my fun part. Let's put it carefully this way. Yeah. But I also know that there are other people out there, they love this. They are the experts. They know also all the South African rules and regulations with SARS. I would know all of them definitely, So, and that is when you find partners, okay, they have access to clients. They are your ideal client, Go back to your customer segments, yeah. Existing businesses, let's say here for Funding Connection, they want to grow, they want to expand. They want to raise capital. They may also want to see if they can't qualify for a grant and need some experts for this. Yeah. So definitely lots of people forget these key partnerships. That's also something what I like about this Canvas business model, what I'm just going here through. Just to think about, okay, so now I have my services and products I want to offer. I know who's my segments. Where do I find them? Are there other businesses and companies out there? They are not my direct competitors. They have direct access to them already. Yeah. With this, you can explode your sales quite quickly. Yeah. And last part, also absolutely important. I just did a review this morning, okay, so we are talking now about cost structure because I know you can't see that. And what do they want to do? I think they wanted to grow, was it for agriculture? They wanted to grow maize and something else, and they had no cost of sales. So they don't need any seeds, they don't need fertilizer, they don't need pesticides, they obviously don't need any water, and so all these things are in this under cost structure included and must be included, and there is nothing not under cost of sales, not under monthly expenses. So that was definitely missing, and you need really to think about what cost do I need to cover to deliver this one product or one unit. And if you need to deliver, and that must be included in your cost structure, or you're charging extra for delivery, then it is excluded, but then you just need to make sure that this is also covered. Lots of times when we do business plans also for transport companies, yeah, people think about the diesel they need to get from A to B, but they forgot that they need to get back from B to A again, and that diesel is not calculated in their cost structure. Yeah, put yourselves back out of this. Just think about, okay, what do I need to pay for? How much will it cost me? Or people have 2 security guards, one for the day and one for the evening. So they are obviously working 7 days a week. They're never ever sick. They never ever have days off. And they're working 12 hours each day. No. Okay. So just think about realistic parts, and then just see, okay, how much staff do you really need? Also, if you do retail shops in these malls, you need to open according to how long the mall is open, so just step a little bit back. I know it's overwhelming, yeah, so that's why lots of people also like then to ask some experts, just guide me, and that's something what we here doing. We're not asking you for information and just putting it into a business plan and the financial forecast. We really ask you the question, why do you only need two security guards? That's not enough. Or you have a driver but you have no vehicle, please explain that. Because all these questions will later on, of course, also be asked by your financier. And what we are trying to do is, I am aware of that. At the moment we do everything, or you do everything in this regards to raise the capital, but what you, at the end of the day, you want to do, you want to set up a successful business. Yeah, so that's why we need to make sure that after you raise the finance, you're able to run that business and not figuring out, oops, 2 security guards are definitely not enough. Now I need 20 or 30 to cover all the times, and that your costs are exploding. Yeah. Okay. So this Canvas business model is definitely forcing you to go through all relevant aspects. There are not all of them in there. Okay, there are a couple of them what we definitely add to the business plan, but it explains your business model, how you are able to earn money. Yeah, and definitely a nice way. When I personally analyze a business idea, these are the questions I'm asking me. Yeah. Okay, so let me just see. Okay, no Cedo, let me just go here. I have a problem that the funders are mainly looking at the established customers, while when you are a startup, you obviously don't have the customers. Non-Cedo, no. Okay, so that's why it is important to have either way offtake agreements if you are a business-to-business setup, or if you want to have a retail shop in a mall, then we have a look about your competitors in this mall. We have a look at the foot traffic in that mall, you know, so you of course don't have customers, that's absolutely clear. There are financiers out there, they also have a look at startups. It is just, keep in mind, 8 out of 10 startups are failing. Yeah, so that's why it is absolutely important to also put so much effort into it. Yeah, don't think I'm just starting and figuring things out. Yeah, but on the other side, depends on your personality type, you know. So others are, I'm only starting when I'm ready. To these people I would say, okay, you just need to start although you don't feel ready. Yeah, and others just say, let me start and I wing it, and to them I would say, no, you need to plan a little bit, you know. So you see that they need to meet in the middle and then they are ready. Yeah, Phoenix, pleasure. Okay, potential ones, you see, so great, yes, okay. I'm not too sure why I'm sitting here, you all know that already. Phoenix, would you need to get letters of intent from those potential partnerships, or just mention that you as a business is looking to use their services? If you can get letters, that would be great. Because number one, it makes you also a little bit more confident that they want to work with you. You know, so solar, I'm not too sure, some of the developers may be willing to give you some letters and say, okay, we're developing some houses here, we're developing some houses here. We always will offer solar power for them as an upgrade. We assume out of our experience 20 or 30% of our future business homeowners will buy solar systems, or they say, here, we want to have that in any case on all of our houses. That is maybe their unique selling point, that they say, here, this is solar powered with high to be independent from Eskom. Yeah, so you can see, and that also makes you more confident, and because then you know your prices are okay because somebody is interested in it. You know you are getting a loan for, I don't know, maybe a couple of million rand, and you will know that you are able to repay that loan. Yeah, because you know you have some developers, some businesses, they want to use you, you know, and then your part is of course also to think about payment terms, you know. So funding connection, again, I'm absolutely straightforward with this. We are always expecting 50% upfront, and then we are starting. Yeah, I'm not willing, because otherwise what happens, just for you to understand, if I say you come to me, we do the business plan, we release it, and then we ask you to pay us, how many people do you think will not pay? That means for me, number one is I need to increase my prices. Number two is I need to have a lawyer full time here who's chasing up everybody, and I don't even want to do these things. Yeah, I want to concentrate on helping entrepreneurs starting and growing their business. I don't want to concentrate on chasing payments. Yeah, and that's maybe also something what you can offer. You can say, hey, yes, we can do that. We start, we get a deposit, then we can of course start with everything, and as soon as it's approved, I'm getting the rest. And this is also something where you then can say, we can do it like this, or we do that on full risk. That means you pay me 20-30% more. Yeah. Think these are all the small little bits and parts. Let me tell you, there are a couple of things I've done correct in the beginning. There are of course a couple of things I learned over time. Yeah. And whenever I face some challenges, I implement the solutions to it. I say, okay, so this is obviously not clear to our clients. We had some discussions. This is what I need to explain up front. Yeah. Or we need to, or we need to be a little bit more clear about different aspects, or we need to ask different questions to get clarity. So all these things are something what you then learn while you are doing it. And you will never ever be able to set up a perfect business. Yeah? But you are able to set up a business that will already start, generate some income, and then you need to use your time wisely, not to work in your business, but to work on your business to eliminate hiccups. Yeah? Okay, lovely. I hope that helped a little bit. We had a discussion about the Canvas business model. If you say here this is something what you want our help to do that, we are definitely able to do so. Let me just write our contact things in there. connection.co/contact. Okay, so you can contact us. Yeah, exactly. So that is the website. You can also go here to Facebook. That is not a problem. On our Facebook page via Facebook Messenger, ask us questions. Brent is in both cases on the other side, and he will be able to guide you and advise and yes, tell you this would be your next step, and it can be your next step for with us, but it also can be a next step with somebody else. Yeah, if we know, okay, we are not able to assist you, or there is somebody better out there for you, we will send you then in that direction. Lovely. Okay, thanks very much for your time. Was again lovely talking to you again this Monday morning. If there's anything you want me to talk about next week, I'm more than happy to do that. Just let me know. And I wish you an absolutely successful new week. We either way talk in between, or we see us next week Monday again. Take good care. Bye.